Have you ever found yourself flipping through your Medicare paperwork, wondering, am I missing something important? Maybe a friend at church mentioned a free heart screening she got last year, or someone at your local community center talked about catching something early because of a routine checkup, and it makes you think, how many of these checkups are you actually using? And more importantly, what might it cost you if you skip them? I can't tell you how many times I've sat with folks who said, I didn't even know Medicare covered that. And it's true, Medicare actually covers several annual screenings and visits, but many retirees simply don't take advantage of them. And actually use ID love it if you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel Vibrant Elders, and leave a comment below about your own experience with checkups. Whether it's something that caught a problem early or just gave you peace of mind, your story could help someone else watching right now. Now, I know the name can sound a little vague, and some folks think it's just a fancy term for a physical. It is not about fixing something that is already broken. It's about checking under the hood to catch little problems before they turn into something bigger. When you walk into this appointment, your doctor won't be poking and prodding like during a regular physical. Instead, they'll talk with you, really talk with the goal of creating a personalized prevention plan just for you. But trust me, this visit is different, and if you're on Medicare, it's completely free once every year. Why? Think about any health changes you've noticed lately. Feeling more tired? Getting up more at night? Little things matter. Bring those notes with you. The more information you give your doctor, the better your prevention plan will be. Because they're spotting issues, early things like high blood pressure, early signs of dementia, or even pre-diabetes, and they're managing them before they blow up into something serious. It doesn't cost you a dime if your doctor accepts Medicare, and it's not a typical head-to-toe exam like some folks expect. Now, it's a good time to call your doctor's office and get it on the calendar. It's 1 hour that could add years of healthier living and save you thousands by avoiding the medical surprises no one wants. Instead, it's a conversation about your health goals, your medications, your risks. One man I knew, Mr. Davis, went in thinking it was just a formality. Turns out, his doctor noticed a trend in his blood sugar numbers, and they caught pre-diabetes early enough to reverse it. But when she went in for her annual wellness visit, her doctor noticed she was on 2 medications that could interact and raise her risk of fainting. That might not sound like a big deal until you consider that one fall could have landed her in the hospital with a broken hip. Instead, a quick medication adjustment later, and she was back to her roses. No stress, and definitely no surprise bills. That's not just a health win, that's thousands saved in future insulin costs. ER visits and complications that never had to happen. Why? Well, sometimes we don't feel sick, so we think we're fine. They'll ask about your medications, whether you've fallen recently, how your memory's doing, even how steady you feel when you walk. They might run a few basic checks like your blood pressure or weight, but most of it is about conversation. The goal is to identify any health risks early and come up with ways to address them now, before they snowball into expensive medical issues down the road. Sometimes it's the hassle of setting up the appointment, or maybe we just assume it'll cost something out of pocket. But here's the thing, etching something early, when it's small and manageable, can save you thousands in treatment bills later, and in some cases, it can even save your life. Take, for example, the annual wellness visit, or how about a cardiovascular screening? Medicare covers it. You might not feel a clogged artery creeping up, but when you catch it before a heart attack, you've avoided not just a hospital stay, but a bill that could reach well into 5 figures. And we'll get into that in just a bit in today's video. I'm going to walk you through 4 annual Medicare-covered checkups you might not be using, but absolutely should. We'll cover what each one includes, how it helps your health, and how much money it can save you and your family in the long run. No medical jargon, no complex charts, just real talk, real examples, and advice you can use today. If you find this kind of content helpful, something that makes Medicare easier to understand, now let's dive into the first checkup, one that might seem simple, but has the power to change the course of your health in one visit. Number 1, annual wellness visit. Let us start with the checkup that is probably the most overlooked and the easiest to schedule, an annual wellness visit. Think of the annual wellness visit like a yearly tune-up for your car, but for your health. So what does that actually mean? Well, first, they'll take a look at your medical history. Let me tell you about someone I know. Her name's Barbara. She's 73, loves gardening, and felt healthy as can be. Studies show that people who regularly do their wellness visits are less likely to end up in the emergency room. If you've never done one of these visits, here's what I recommend. Grab a list of all your current medications, prescription, over-the-counter, even vitamins, and one last tip, ask questions. This is your time. Ask about vaccinations, fall prevention, memory checks, anything on your mind. You'd be surprised how much you can uncover just by talking openly with your provider. So, if it's been more than a year, or maybe you've never taken advantage of this Medicare benefit, now's a good time to call your doctor's office and get it on the calendar. It's 1 hour that could add years of healthier living and save you thousands by avoiding the medical surprises no one wants. Number 2, cardiovascular, heart, screening and blood tests. Now, let's talk about your heart. Because when it comes to surprise hospital visits and surprise medical bills, your heart can play a starring role. But here's the good news. Medicare offers simple, no-cost screenings each year that can help catch warning signs early way before things get dangerous or expensive. When most people think of heart trouble, they picture chest pain or shortness of breath, but high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you don't feel those coming. That's why screenings matter. They shine a light on what's happening inside, even when everything seems fine on the outside. So what exactly can you get checked? Each year, Medicare covers screenings for blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. These three are often called the ABCs: A for A1C, that's the diabetes test, B for blood pressure, and C for cholesterol. Together, they give your doctor a pretty good sense of how your cardiovascular system is doing. Sometimes, if you have symptoms or a family history, they might also include an EKG to check your heart rhythm. Let me tell you about someone named Paul. He's 68, retired from construction, still pretty active. He didn't feel sick, just a little more tired lately when he went in for his free heart screening. His blood pressure was 170/90, dangerously high, left untreated. It could have led to a stroke or heart attack, but with one checkup and a simple prescription, he was back on track and he avoided a hospital stay that could have cost tens of thousands. And the science backs this up. The CDC says that managing high blood pressure and cholesterol can reduce your risk of heart disease by more than 30%. That's huge, not just in terms of health but financially too. A heart attack can lead to ambulance rides, ER visits, hospital stays, stents, rehab. And even with insurance, your out-of-pocket costs could easily top $10,000. All of that when it might have been avoided by a 10-minute blood test and a conversation with your doctor. So how do you make the most of this? Easy. Next time you're at your annual wellness visit or even just doing your usual checkup, ask for your ABCs. Don't wait for symptoms and don't assume that feeling fine means you're in the clear. If it's been over a year since your last cholesterol test, or you've never had your A1C checked, now's a great time. Bring it up, write it on a sticky note, tell your provider, I want to make sure my ABCs are good. Because here's the truth, a little blood work now can save you a ton of worry later and protect your health and your wallet at the same time. Number 3, cancer screenings, colorectal, breast, prostate. Now, I know nobody gets excited about cancer screenings. The idea of scopes, tests, and labs can make anyone a little uneasy. But here's the thing, when caught early, many cancers are not only treatable, they're beatable. And for folks on Medicare, the best part is, many of these screenings are covered 100%. That's right, free, no copay, no deductible, no fuss. Let's start with colon cancer. Because it's one of the most common and most preventable cancers out there, Medicare covers a yearly fecal occult blood test, or FOBT for short. It's simple, non-invasive, and checks for tiny traces of blood in your stool that could signal something's not right. And every 10 years, sometimes sooner, depending on your history, you're eligible for a colonoscopy, which is the gold standard for catching problems before they become serious. I remember talking to a woman named Diane, 67, who put off her colonoscopy for years. She felt fine, had no symptoms, and figured it could wait, but during her wellness visit, her doctor gently pushed her to get it done. Good thing, too, they found a polyp that turned out to be precancerous, removed it right then and there. No chemo, no surgery, no hospital stay, just a preventive move that saved her life and her finances. Breast cancer screenings are another big one, especially for women over 65. Medicare covers a screening mammogram every 2 years, or more often if needed. It's quick, it's easy, and it could catch something small before it turns into something big. I've seen ladies catch breast cancer in stage 1, take action fast, and avoid long hospital stays and high treatment costs altogether. And for the gentlemen out there, don't skip your PSA test. That's the one that screens for prostate cancer. It's a simple blood test. And if your doctor thinks it's appropriate, Medicare will cover it annually. A lot of men shrug this off, thinking it's no big deal until it's too late. But prostate cancer caught early is often slow growing and manageable. All of this to say, these screenings aren't about scaring you. They're about arming you with information and giving you options. You've got enough to worry about in retirement. Your health shouldn't be a guessing game. So if it's been a while since you've had any of these tests, or if you're not even sure what you've had, talk to your doctor. Ask what's due. They'll know what screenings you're eligible for based on your age and history. These checkups don't just protect your body, they protect your savings, your peace of mind, and your ability to enjoy these golden years without fear lurking in the background. Number 4, bone density, osteoporosis, screening. Let's switch gears now and talk about something that tends to sneak up on folks' bone health. Specifically, osteoporosis. You may not feel it coming, but for many older adults, a simple trip or slip can lead to a broken bone, and that one break can change everything. That's why Medicare covers a bone density test, what doctors call a DXA scan, every 2 years for qualifying individuals. Women over 65 and men over 70 are the typical candidates, especially if you've had fractures before or are on medications that affect bone strength. It's painless, takes less than 20 minutes, and gives you a detailed picture of your bone health. Let me tell you about Mrs. Garcia, a 74-year-old grandmother who came in last year for her annual wellness visit. She mentioned she'd been feeling a little shorter lately, like her pants were longer than they used to be. Her doctor recommended a bone density scan just to be safe. Turns out she had early signs of osteoporosis, but because they caught it early, she was able to start treatment, some dietary changes, a little weight-bearing exercise and medication. Fast forward a year, and she hasn't had a single fall. She still walks her dog every morning and even dances with her grandkids at family cookouts. Now imagine if she hadn't had that scan, a bad fall could have meant a broken hip, which can easily lead to surgery, months of rehab, or even permanent mobility loss, not to mention the cost over $30,000 for a single hospital stay. And that's before rehab. And beyond the dollars, it's the loss of independence that really hits home. That's the real power of preventive care. It gives you choices. It lets you take action before a crisis. And with bone density testing, it can be the difference between continuing to live on your own terms or suddenly needing help for everything from bathing to getting out of bed. So if you haven't had your DXA scan yet, or it's been a couple of years, ask your doctor about it at your next visit. They'll guide you through whether you're eligible and help schedule it. It's one of the most overlooked tools in the Medicare toolkit, and yet it's one of the most impactful. Think of it this way: your bones are like the frame of a house. If the frame weakens, everything else becomes harder to support. But if you keep it strong, you can weather just about anything life throws your way. So let's take a breath and walk back through everything we've covered today. Because what you just heard could honestly change how the next few years of your life unfold. We started with the annual wellness visit. It's free, it's personalized, and it's your yearly roadmap for staying ahead of health problems before they grow into expensive and stressful surprises. If your car gets a tune-up once a year, why not your body? Then we moved into heart health. Those simple blood tests, your cholesterol, blood pressure, maybe an EKG or a 1C can reveal more than you think. Catching a small issue now could mean avoiding a $50,000 hospital stay later. That's not an exaggeration. It's reality for too many people who didn't know they had something brewing. Next, we talked about cancer screenings. I know those words can make anyone uneasy. But the truth is that early detection isn't just about survival, it's about saving your future. A colonoscopy, a mammogram, even a PSA test can make the difference between a simple outpatient procedure and months of chemo, radiation, or worse. And then we wrapped up with bone density. This one's personal for a lot of folks. Maybe you've seen a friend break a hip and never quite bounce back, but it doesn't have to be that way. A quick DXA scan, a few changes to your routine, and suddenly you're not just preventing a fall, you're protecting your freedom to live the way you want. The bottom line? These 4 checkups are not optional fluff. They are serious tools. Tools that Medicare pays for because they work, because prevention works, and because you deserve every chance to stay ahead of the curve and enjoy these golden years with confidence, clarity, and control. So here's your action step. Pick 1 checkup. Just 1. Call your doctor this week. Put it on the calendar. It takes less time than an oil change, and the impact it can have on your wallet, your well-being, your peace of mind is immeasurable. And if this video helped clarify things or made you say, I need to check on that, then do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to our Vibrant Elders channel for more down-to-earth advice just like this, and drop a comment below. Maybe you've already done one of these checkups. Tell us what it was like. Your story could help someone else take that first step. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Here's to staying sharp, staying strong, and staying proactive. You've worked hard your whole life. Now it's time to enjoy it smartly. Take care, and I'll see you